Welcome to Bicycle Retail Radio, presented by the National Bicycle Dealers Association. Bicycle Retail Radio brings together retailers, vendors, advocates, and thought leaders for honest discussions about the latest issues facing bicycle retailers. The podcast dives deep into the challenges and triumphs of the bicycle industry, providing an in-depth look at the person behind the profession. Aiming to deliver content that's both relatable and thought-provoking, offering real-world tips and insights to help you find success in the bicycle industry. There's a human side of the business, and the podcast aims to share stories, experiences, and strategies that you can apply in your own shop. Whether you're looking for inspiration, practical advice, or a sense of community, you've come to the right place. The National Bicycle Dealer Association has a rich history of supporting retailers across the nation. Founded in 1946 with a mission to strengthen specialty bicycle retailers through education, through research, through communication, and through advocacy. The National Bicycle Dealer Association is proudly supported by our members and our membership. If you'd like to learn more about the benefits of joining, please visit NBDA.com.
Wolf e-bikes, designed for riders looking for a simple and efficient mode of transportation, high quality, low stress. We have a special for NBDA members, our Ursa and Ursa ST Cruiser with $1,740 wholesale, now $1,000. Retail it at $1,699 with a 41% margin. Free shipping and 90-day dating for orders of 10 or more. A great new lineup coming for spring 25. Check us out at wolfebikes.com and become a dealer today. That's WOLFFEBIKES.com.
We are Bivo, a stainless steel cycling water bottle company. The idea for Bivo came from the realization Robbie and I had when our daughter was young. We didn't want to feed her out of plastic bottles, and as we were searching for safe, non-plastic alternatives, we realized that we too use plastic bottles every time we exercised. It was wild for us to realize that metal bottles for cycling didn't exist, so we created one. With the universal cage fit and a high flow rate, Bivo bottles are the go-to bottle for cyclists ready for a cleaner, faster, and more fun drinking experience.
Hey friends, hi listeners, welcome back to the NBDA podcast, Bicycle Retail Radio. We're thrilled to have you. Yeah, right, Brian? Brian's so excited. Yay. We're coming to you right after the holiday, but we're still in the holiday spirit. We're here. It's not yet the end of the year, and we got a special episode for you today. I'm joined by Brian Hawkins from Fixture Lab. Brian, as always, a pleasure.
An extreme pleasure for me. Happy holidays to you and everybody.
I can't believe we're wrapping up another year. Time goes by so quickly, so quickly.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Gosh. Well, with New Year's comes new things, and I've got an episode that's even going to surprise you today, Brian. So listeners, this is our Retail Design Flex. It's an ongoing podcast feature where we focus topics specifically on store design, remodeling, and merchandising. And we do this in partnership with Fixture Lab. If you have not heard of Fixture Lab, well, it's time you go to their website, fixturelab.com, check out what's happening over there. They not only provide solutions for bicycle retailers, they also work with retailers in running, fly fishing, outdoor sports to help them improve their space and design cutting-edge retail spaces. Brian, it seems like everyone I've been talking to lately has either worked with you in the past or is having a conversation right now or plans to. So how are things going? Catch me up.
It's really true. Things are really drying up now because we've worked with everybody. So
that's not what I was saying.
There's nobody left to work with. I don't know. We're gonna have to, maybe we'll start doing something else next year. No, things are going great. It's a busy time. I do get lots of good calls from people from the podcast, just calling with questions or whatever. So keep those coming. That's awesome.
I love that. Yeah. And that is, so for our listeners, if you have questions about retail design, about your space, you can send us those questions. It's pretty easy. You'll just email them over to us at, what is it? Retail design? I can't, what's the email, Brian? Oh my gosh.
I don't know. You always say the email address, design@nbda.com.
It's design@nbda.com, and we'll answer them on our next episode. So send us photos, Send us anything that makes sense to you. We'll answer them. If you want to be put into retail protection, we'll do that as well. So yeah, it's easy. And we love to hear from people, right, Brian?
We love, love, love. I mean, honestly, the ideas that we get like for today came from people listening last month, and it's just good to know what the stores out there are thinking about or having questions about so we can gear our content to what's going on out there.
Yeah, you're right. This is a topic that was presented to us from one of our listeners. And I guess we should let people in. What's our topic for today, Brian?
Well, it's funny you ask because I've got this handy thing prepared. It's window
It
day.
is window day. So if you're listening, if you're driving in the car, out on a bike ride, taking a walk, a run, when you get home, you're going to want to head over to YouTube because you can watch this episode. We're going to be showing a PowerPoint presentation with lots of great tips and pointers. And I even snuck in a few special things that's going to surprise Brian himself. So
Which
definitely
I am nervous about.
you should be. You should be. So window day. This conversation did come to us. A retailer said, I need help. So what Brian and I decided to do is we put a request out for images of windows. We thought like little elves that we could get really busy, and we reached out to all of the NBDA P2 members, some of our retailer members from around the country, and we asked for photos of their front windows. We worked very hard on that, Brian, didn't we?
Yeah, terribly hard. Although you kept everything a secret from me, so I don't know what we've got to look at from those photos.
I know, because every day can be window day. So I didn't want to give you too much. I wanted to keep the window spirit to myself. So what we did here is Brian has a PowerPoint of some tips when it comes to windows. And then basically, Brian, here's what I did. I reached out to Alex on your team and I sent her all of those images. And I asked her to take over your PowerPoint and put them in. So she has told me that you have not clicked through this PowerPoint presentation today, and that when we get to those slides, that it will catch you by surprise. So what I wanted to do, Brian, is just not give you time to look at pictures. I wanted our listeners to get real in the moment Brian feedback.
There will not be any canned responses to these images because I can't can anything that I don't know about.
And I got another special challenge for you today. There's 3 words that I want you to use. You do this to me, so I want you to work in the words limpid, glassless, and shuttered.
Oh, good. All right. Limpid.
Glassless and shuttered. And listeners, listen for those words. Make it kind of fun today, right?
Shuttered. Okay.
All right. So Brian, you start, and at some point Heather's gonna kind of take it over and set some things to you.
I'm sweating. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
Again, if you're listening to this and not looking at this, you might as well just stop because everything's visual. We're going to be looking at things and you might get something out of the description of what's going on, but it's going to be much better. Okay, so today we're going to talk about challenges that we all face with bike shop windows and window displays. We're going to talk about how to window like a pro. We're also going to talk about the key elements and review the key elements of an effective window display. And then we're going to have real pictures from real stores, as Heather talked about.
Yay.
All right. So I wanted to start off by saying, take heart. Windows are tough. And I get that. Especially bike shop windows can be really, really tough. So what are the especially challenging things about bike shop windows, Heather?
They're important. I mean, they're important, right?
Yes, you want to do a good job, so that is a
Get
challenge.
granular, Heather.
Thing number 1 is if you're going to show bikes in the window, bikes themselves are pretty see-through. Like there's not a whole lot of surface area to them. So even if they're a bright color like the red bike that you can see there, they kind of disappear when you look through a window at them. And they disappear in a store too. That's one of the things about a bike that makes it tough to display is there isn't much surface area to it. So that makes it a little challenging.
Hmm.
The windows that we're dealing with most often for a bike shop face the outside world, which causes all kinds of reflection problems and lighting problems and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So the image that we're looking at here was just taken last week, and you can see the reflection problems that I'm talking about. The store was open. There is no problem with the lighting inside the store. It looks dark because it's so bright outside, and the inside light can't compete with the outside light. So the reflections and the apparently dark store results from that. So that's a tough one to deal with, but you can't really get around it. There's some things we're going to talk about today that will help mitigate this problem, but it's a challenge. Um, I wanted to show you this image too. Well, actually, let me go back here. The problem that I mentioned about there being much less light inside than outside, when you go to a mall and you see an awesome looking window, part of what makes that window look awesome is the fact that the light inside that window area is either as bright or brighter than what's going on outside the window. So
Makes
that's what makes something like this pop. You put this exact display on an outside window and you'd have the same problems again. So we just have, if you're in an environment where the light on the front window or the window that we're talking about is limited and you can beat out the light with the light that's coming from your store out the window, then you're in a good spot. But most of the time you're not.
Right, I have a question. I mean,
Hit it.
I think about window displays, and the first thing that comes to my mind is like the iconic Macy's window displays.
Uh-huh.
Is that because those displays were lit up from behind, or that's always what I think we should try to mimic, but I feel like it's almost impossible or something.
We're gonna you're right on track. We're gonna talk about these kinds of windows and what they do
Okay,
to make them sing, to make them look really great.
all right,
So stay tuned.
okay.
Okay. Another problem with bike shop windows is sometimes if you want to put bikes in the windows, bikes don't even fit in the windows. So I superimposed this in here with
Hmm.
bikes that are kind of about actual size. And you can see that if you wanted to show a bike in the window, it's a challenge because it just doesn't fit in the window. And we run into that a lot of the time. So you have to do some other things probably to make windows like these really do well in terms of presenting things to the outside world, not just sticking a bike in the window
Hmm.
for all the reasons that we're talking about. Another challenge is a lot of shops are challenged to dedicate the window to present things facing out versus facing in. In the example that we're looking at here, the shop is using every square inch of merchandisable space and they've put product in front of the window. And that's facing in. So when you're inside the store, you can shop this stuff and that works out just great. But from the outside looking in, it's either dark, like we just talked about, and you can't see much going on, or it's kind of an eyesore from the outside because you're looking at the backside of all these products.
Yeah, but when space is challenging, it makes it, yeah, this
Exactly.
hard stuff. I'm glad we're covering this.
100% understandable why this store would have to do this in front of the windows, and understandable why it's a challenge.
Hmm.
Security is an issue for every shop these days. Um, oh, by the way, can I have a sideline?
Yeah, please.
I just recently worked with a shop in New Mexico. Yeah, brand new shop. And as we were doing their design, we built into their floor plan a big, huge planter in front of their front window.
Interesting. Okay.
And I said, I'm putting that planter there because you need to do something in front of this window or you're going to get broken into.
Oh,
Someone's going to drive a truck through your window and take things. Remember our security
yeah.
webinar that we did?
Mm-hmm.
That really raised my awareness of what's going on out there. Um, when we went to go back to install things at the store, he said, I hate it, but you were exactly right. We didn't put anything in front of that window. And the night before they opened, someone drove a truck through the window and broke in.
Oh, that's awful. Yeah.
Ugh, so annoying.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so security is an issue for everybody. Gates, bars, shutters can literally make your store look shuttered.
Yes.
You
Uh-huh.
picked the word, I just used
Got
it. So I'm
it.
sorry.
Nice job. High five.
Shutters aren't very limpid, so yeah, it's easy to see why it would get in the way. Even if you don't have a situation like this where you're closing up blinds or doors or whatever over the windows, even if they're open during the day, it still poses a problem because there's usually a space issue with things that have been slid to the sides or hanging overhead or whatever. So that's an additional challenge.
Hmm.
Are you ready to window like a pro?
Yes,
This
of
is going to
course.
start to strike at the exact stuff that you wanted to talk about.
All right.
All right.
Yay. This is what you're, I feel like you're feeling me. I feel like,
Right? I read your mind. Okay, so rule number one is be bold. As we're looking at this, this is an extremely bold presentation in the window, and that's why it works.
mhm.
This is an outside window. I mean, at least it looks like an outside window. I can see reflections from something across the street, it looks like.
Yeah.
And what they've done, and this is a nighttime view of it. We'll talk more about that in a second. But it's really, really, really bold. They've got the actual products that they're selling in the window, like the little games and dolls and toys and stuff. But they've also blown up some things and made some really big, bold uh, items with colorful surface area, like the big letters in the background and all of that, and then the brightly colored background behind that. So all of these things working together make a very bold statement that's better than just throwing a bunch of toys in the window.
I agree.
All right, same exact point. This one, I couldn't find a better picture of it, but this store could have put their brightly colored shoes in the window and called it a day,
Well,
which is what most stores honestly would do with a window. They would put their product in there and maybe they get creative and paint that product a bright color so that it shows up nicely. But whoever designed this window didn't stop there because they knew that just that product alone wasn't going to carry it. It wasn't going to be bold enough. So they created these gigantic paint cans that also have paint dropping out of them or looks like paint dropping out of them that makes really big, bold blocks of color that can actually show through a window and make that display work.
I love that.
All right, this is another example of being bold. And it's not because of bright colors. It's being bold because it's simple and graphic and attention getting. It's a backlit. Somehow this is backlit, so that's a nice thing to do in the window there.
Yeah.
But this is a bold statement and it really works nicely because the only things to pay attention to are the bike in the foreground and the neat illustration, which is well done in the background.
It's wonderful, actually. I really like that.
Next pro tip is light for the night. I would argue that of all the things that we can show through the windows, few things for a great bike shop are more engaging for the customer than this kind of a view. Don't you think?
I mean, this makes me want to go in that store. It wants me to ride a bike and all the things. It's giving me all the feels.
They haven't, there's nothing in a traditional sense where we've created a window display in this store, but they've really paid attention to what shows through the windows, and we're taking advantage of what happens at night. During the day, you have the same reflection issues and the same lighting disparity issues that we showed earlier. But at night, they are concentrating on things being lit up so that when you're driving by, like literally you can drive by this and think, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to hit that store in the morning when they're open.
Yeah.
So really, really think about that. This is another example of lighting for the night. This is a flower shop, I think. I don't know. I just looked around and found this, and it's a perfect example of lighting for the night. The inside of that store is dark. There's nothing going on in there. The product in the foreground is lit perfectly with big, colorful things. It's a bike in the window. By the way, it's always funny to me that other industries, other types of stores use bikes in their windows constantly. And bike shops are always challenged to use bikes in their windows effectively.
Yeah. Yeah, actually,
Because a bike is like a living, it's just a tangible example of having fun and being free and all the awesome stuff that, and all those things that a bike brings to you. And other stores want to import that. And we have that built into our DNA when we got to take advantage of it.
it's making me think why even we're talking about windows, like why this is important. It's like the cover of our book. It's like the DNA of our business, right? It's like I don't know what word would you use for how would you
Well, I
describe
mean,
it?
there's a lot of things to it. One is that a well done window display like this starts the conversation with the customer. They're not literally talking with you, but it starts the conversation with this store cares enough. They are proud of their product enough. They know what they're doing enough to really put their best foot forward here. I mean, it's always clear when you see a great window. Like you
Yeah,
said, you walk by the great window displays at Christmas time.
you want to go in. It pulls you in. Yeah.
It's engaging. I mean,
Mhm.
it just slows you down and causes you to look, which is perfect.
It kind of sets the tone for the experience for me, I think is what it is.
Exactly.
I like it. Whoa, I don't like that image.
But you know what's cool about it is if you squint,
No, it's making me sick a little bit. Can we change that?
let's talk about a pro tip of perforated window graphics.
Oh, that
This
was just
is,
window graphics blown up. That's what we were just looking at.
uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
We've all seen these, whether you know you've seen them or not. We've all seen them. Like this close up here is literally that little part of that graphic on that window. It's perforated so that it's somewhat see-through, and they're awesome because they show up really nicely during the day, like this image shows here. They also let light into the store, which is nice. No, at all times, they let light into the store, and they're see-through at night. And I should have put one more bullet on there. You can see from the inside the store, you can look out and you really never even perceive that there's a graphic on the window. So that there's lots of great advantages to this style of graphic. It's applied to the outside of the glass, which is part of the reason why it works so well during the day, because you don't have the reflection issue. Sometimes it's applied to the inside of the glass, but
Hmm.
most of the time it's applied to the out. And I wanted to make one more point about perforated graphics. They're like cookies. They are great, but too much is too much. Think about that shop that I showed you with the great nighttime view.
Mhm.
Like those engaging things about what goes on inside that store. If you were to cover all of the windows with graphics so that you couldn't see into the store, you're missing a big opportunity. And at night, that wouldn't be the case because you can see through these things, but I'm just saying, don't completely cover the whole outside of the store's windows with graphics that prevent you from seeing inside. And don't completely cover all the windows with perforated graphics during the day, because then you can't see, even if you're close, you can't really see into the store to see what's going on and get engaged.
Oh, what is this?
My point is to tell stories. Like, think about what kind of a story could I tell in the window? And I'll tell you, I cannot figure out what the story is here.
One like might have a flat. They were going somewhere.
Right? That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, there's been a calamity of some sort, like he has to change a flat, someone's I can't see what's in the basket there. Maybe there's a story behind that. I
But
don't
you're
know what the
this
story is.
this tells a story. Yeah.
But it's engaging. It's a story. Like, when you were walking by that window, you'd be like, what's going on there? Like, why is that bike flipped upside down? Did someone crash? I don't know.
Oh,
Another kind of storytelling.
I love this. It makes me
Um,
think of up and a circus and a nice handbook.
so I've shown people this a number of times over the years because I think it's a great example of telling a story versus being like super literal and just putting a bike or a product in the window. Um, Imagine if what's under the hot air balloon is a very light component from a bike.
Hmm.
Like, this component is so light and so airy that a hot air balloon this size would carry it away. That's kind of a fun story. And this is a super graphic, very bold window that tells that story, and it doesn't even require words.
I like it a lot.
Fun, huh?
Mhm.
All right, this is a big time pro tip. You got to think about the window itself, the product behind the window, and what's behind the product as three layers of a cake here, or three layers of a 3D scene.
Mhm.
So in all of these things, you can do different things. You could do something on the window that's different than the product behind it, that's different than the backdrop. So let's look at those exact things being employed. Another example of someone else outside the bike industry using a bike because it delivers the thrill of having fun and freedom. So they've done cool graphics on the window.
It is really cool.
I can't, I couldn't get another picture, so I don't even know how that's handled. But you can tell that there's something interesting happening on the window itself with their logo. Then there's the product hung and lit really well behind the window. And then behind that is a backdrop that's also got stuff going on. And the combination of those things makes it also engaging as you're walking by because your perspective changes on these things. And that all works really nicely together. Here's another example of the same exact thing happening. Different way of tackling it, but it's the same exact thing.
This is so inspiring. If you're listening and you're not looking at this, you need to tap into YouTube and see this because seeing these images just makes it, I mean, I'm lit up. Like I can't wait to go see window displays right now.
Yeah. Now, I showed these examples and I know how stinking hard it is in most shops to pull off something like this. Just because of space issues or because of you've got shutters on the front of the stores, or it's just there's lots of reasons why it's hard, but it's also worth it. It's also worth considering what you can do, get inspired by some of the examples and start to pull off your own solutions. This is very simple, but it's a great example of the exact same thing that we were just looking at happening. They've done graphics on the window itself. They've done a great job of telling a story with the bike behind the graphics, and then they created a backdrop behind that.
I love that.
This is achievable, right?
Yes, yes, it is, Brian. It
All right.
is.
Thank you very much, Heather. All right, here's your quiz.
What's
What is the problem here?
um, there's no backdrop, so it's not 3D. We're not 3D in it. Um,
Bingo.
yeah, okay, good.
I mean, we could talk about the backlighting, things like that, but really what the issue is they've got stuff on the window, they've got product behind the window, but there's nothing behind that. They haven't, well, maybe they considered it, but they opted out of or whatever, but they don't have a backdrop behind that. So this see-through product and the see-through type is getting confused with the stuff that's behind it because, especially because of the backlighting.
Mhm.
So I would argue that this would be more effective if they simply dropped an image or something in behind that product that doesn't take much room, that helps to set it off. Even if it's a little portion of it, doesn't
Mhm.
even have to be a big, huge thing behind the window. Just a little thing hanging from the ceiling.
Mm.
We have talked about this before. The light coming through your windows isn't always a good thing. I hear people say, I don't need much lighting in this store because we've got big windows. But almost the exact opposite is true if you have big windows. Because of what we see in this image here, the light being so bright outside compared to how it is inside, the outside wins the battle and it turns everything that you're looking at from inside the store, it turns it into a silhouette like this bike here.
Mm.
And you ignore that when you're in the store, like your eye just knows to look past that because it's just what you see all the time. But it isn't the best way to show that bike off. So if you have this kind of a situation, you have to have a lot of light from inside the store shining on that product to help overpower the backlighting of the sun a little bit. Next thing you might consider is
Mm.
if you have to um, do some security measures in the front windows, like this store did. We helped them with a display, and really, they've got big windows that are, you know, very insecure. So what we wanted to do is build bars into the windows, but also turn it into bike display. So there is thick steel bars going from floor to ceiling and side to side that are welded and bolted into place, which isn't going to stop everybody from getting in at all, but it's sure going to slow someone down, which is what we talked about a lot in our security webinar. We just want to slow people down, but we can also take advantage of the bars that we've put in the windows if they're handled well so that you can stick some product in there.
That was such a great webinar. It was really timely too. We have it, if you're a NBDA member, you can see that webinar in our past super webinar series if you're interested. Just
Yeah,
FYI.
it's really, really eye-opening. I refer stores to it all the time
Mhm.
because you're you want to believe that you don't have to think about that as much as you really have to think about that stuff. And it's nothing sucks more than having your shop broken into and thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars of product being taken.
Oh yeah.
This is another example of the same kind of thing happening. I'm not a huge fan of this aesthetic, but I bet that this is a solution that they're trying to solve the same thing that I was just talking about. They're effectively creating bars in the windows by using the bike wheels in the windows and locking everything down nicely. So that would slow someone down coming through. All right, so let's review some key. We're getting close to the store photos. Key elements: use strong, eye-catching visuals, tell stories, keep it simple, keep it bold and concise, not overcomplicated. Just say no to clutter and stickers. I didn't show any examples, but imagine the prettiest windows that we're talking about there with 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper taped to the window in front of it that say, I don't know what they would say, but you think about that stuff. Incorporate large areas of vibrant colors and dynamic imagery. Use the proper light stuff in the windows so that it really pops in the day as much as possible and especially at night. Make sure the display works during the day and the night. Think about both day parts to make sure that your display is working. Consider the store's branding and stick with it, which is part of eliminating the clutter and the stickers and things like that. If you want to look like an old time bike shop that is cluttered and confusing and dirty and that kind of thing, then clutter it up and do that. But if you're not trying to pull that off, think about your own brand and make sure that what's in that window is very consistent with it.
Yay! All right, Brian. So we
Yes.
asked our P2 members. So these are retailers who work with the NBDA in small groups of other retailers to improve their business. We asked these retailers to send us photos same day, not to stage anything, just go take some photos. And what I like to do now is I think I have maybe a dozen photos or so. I'm going to just show you some photos and I want your just immediate gut reaction. Maybe uh, maybe some tips that we can improve upon what we're seeing, or that you're wowed and you're just so impressed,
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, so go ahead and go forward. All right, so this is BFF Bikes up in Chicago. What do you think of this?
Okay, well, gosh, how topical.
It looks,
They're,
I mean, yeah, I mean,
they're doing a lot of the things that we talked about.
right.
Okay, so there's the graphics, which I love in the window, like on the window. There are the bikes and they're trying to display some things there that are they're, kind of dynamic looking.
Mhm.
It's got the same challenges that we're talking about because look, there's kind of a dark colored bike, two dark colored bikes on a dark colored background with nothing behind them. So of course they get lost in there.
So maybe a background, maybe a product with more color, and to get whatever that paper is off the front window.
Exactly.
All right,
I
all
mean,
right.
it's funny that I said 8.5 by 11 sheets stuck to the window because that's exactly what's happening there.
Happens. All right. So next one. So what I did is I just wanted to give you another view of the building. So they have those, what do you call it? What's the graphic?
Perforated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. See, I mean, I don't want to repeat myself over and over again, but this is a good use of the perforated graphics and it's not covering every single window.
Huh?
I don't know how the store is shaped, but I'm guessing that this is one side that probably gets good car traffic or something and not a lot of walking traffic. So they want to make sure that there's signage on the outside there. And this is a perfect way to pull that off.
Exactly. Yeah, they have one side that faces more of a busier road and one side that's more foot traffic. And then this other window, I think since you've gone through now, we just know that there's opportunity here on this window where they could brighten it up and do something.
Exact things. Should I go on?
Yeah, do the next one. Do the next one. Okay, well, this is Bicycle Ranch in Arizona. Steve's awesome. What are your thoughts? Like just boom, gut reaction.
Great.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, no, I love it. Okay, so he appears to be employing graphics in parts of the window, which I like. Like these effectively are nice, bold graphics or images that show through parts of the window, but he's not covering the whole inside of the store.
Yeah.
He's using the glass. I like the things like the logos on the glass. That can be overdone, but
I mean,
I like
go
that.
in. I mean, it's pulling me in. I want to go in and see what's in there, right?
Yeah, and he's paying attention to what's being seen through the window. So you have these great stages with the mannequin there. By the way, clothing is a great thing to throw in or near the front window because compared to a bike, clothing, bike clothing is typically much bigger blocks of color.
Awesome. All right,
Just think about it that way.
do the next one, Brian. Is this fun for you? Are you having
Yeah,
fun?
this is really fun.
All right, so this
I'm
is the same
I'm gonna be
store.
scared if you pull out an example that I don't know what to say, but
Brian,
whatever.
this is the same store, just another angle, a viewpoint.
Yeah, same exact comments. Like I like the fact that they haven't covered every window. I like seeing into the store. I like the use of things. I'd
What
say that.
about, wait, can you go back one? What about the use of the riders? I mean, we have like normal looking people. We don't have like super athletes, like are like diverse demographics of age and whatever. Is that good, or do we want more of the pro rider, the Lance? Should we have Lance up there?
Well, that goes right back to my point about the branding of the store.
Okay, all
If
right.
this is a pro shop, if you're trying to pull the people who aspire to ride in the tour someday, then maybe the images of the kids isn't the right thing to stick in there. But if you're dealing with, a whole family, from kids up through people who are older and just using it as a exercise vehicle, the variety of images is really great. I'm sensing for this kind of a store.
All right. All right. So fit your brand. I like it. Okay. All right. I know you got a sneak peek, but oh, how about this one? This one is Bridgeway Bikes. They're in Maryland. What do you think? This is their front door.
It's interesting. I know Bridgeway, and I used them in one of the pictures earlier in the.
I noticed that. I was like, Brian, I did notice.
Okay, but to be fair, that was a picture before it was Bridgeway.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Take that.
Okay. Well, what do
Uh,
you think about this
I have
front
a
door?
lot here. I mean, you can see the reflection problem. You can clearly see the picture taker in the window. I like the logo being applied to the glass that's better than it being inside the store so that it's nice and visible.
All right. I like that it says push. I'm sure people still probably pull, but that's a thing. I'm sorry. I'm not the expert you are, Brian. All right.
Can
Go to
I,
the next one.
can
Go
I
to the
go
next.
on?
This is the same store, and I saw when you showed the picture earlier, I was like, I wonder. You can see now what he did. You had photoshopped those images in before.
Yep.
You think? I don't know if you've seen it
All
since.
right. All right. So a few things come to mind. One is he's got lights up here, which would be perfect for lighting the stuff in the window.
Right? Yeah.
But it appears to me that they're aimed behind the stuff in the window.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This bike here looks like it's lit well. I'm not sure where it sits inside the store. It looks like it's got light on it. If these lights aren't aimed at directly at the product in the window, then he's missing a good bet. That's the first thing to do with those lights is aim them straight down at those products. I would support the bikes if he's going to show bikes, because this is the exact problem that I mentioned before.
Yeah.
If you're going to show bikes in the windows, which may be very necessary, then I would elevate them so that it looks like you've paid attention and they're kind of displayed in the window as opposed to you're just seeing into the store and the bike happens to be where the bike happens to be.
Yeah, Brian, I'm not an expert like you, but could we take that bike and kind of like put it on an angle a little
Yeah,
bit?
totally. Why not?
Okay. All right.
It'd be more dynamic to show it that way.
Okay. All right.
Um, you could also take advantage of putting something behind the product that's in the window, like we've been talking about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's on the other side of these bikes, so I'm not sure how feasible that is. But on that front, what we've got behind the bikes visually is what appears to be a light gray wall or a white wall there, a gray wall there, and a gray wall back here. Even if you can't do a graphic directly behind the bike, something like an interesting block of color back there on that wall or this little wall, that would still help.
Yeah, or moving other, I mean, I'm not an expert, but moving other product that would further entice me to want to come in. So yeah.
Right. It looks I'm seeing over here and I'm seeing what's going on. Yeah, and the store's closed clearly.
Mhm.
So I don't know how different this is than the daytime view of things.
Mhm.
But it doesn't look like there's a lot of attention being paid to what's being seen through the windows at this point in time.
Yeah. And hey,
These don't feel like displays. It feels like you're just seeing into a store that's closed.
yes. And hey, if you're a P2 member, like Eric, if you're listening to this, this is all just some great feedback for you. Not meant to be anything, but just some great feedback.
Wow, yeah, this
Brian.
is
Yeah.
I love that people sent in photos. That's
Yeah.
so perfect. Oh, here's one last thing. It feels to me like these lights are one temperature of light and these lights are different color temperature. This looks like 5,000 K and this looks like 3,000, which in this kind of a setting makes these two things feel like different stores. I would definitely keep the color of the light the same here as the same here.
Love that. Love that. You're bringing back our lighting thing. Okay. Oh, you're already going for it. All right. What about this? We got some festivities. What do you think?
I like it.
Oh, all right. You're
Well, okay, here's what I like. I like the bow
Mhm.
for all the reasons that we talked about. This is the same store.
Oh, how do you know? Oh, because the color of the building?
Well, I'm just looking at the window.
Oh, all right.
It's the
Because
same.
Brian's the master.
I like the I like the Christmas lights in the window. I'm sure that that plays well at night.
All right, go to
Uh,
the next one. Go to the next one for me.
okay, sorry.
All right, so this is up in Indiana. What do you
Spin
think?
Zone.
Yeah,
Shout out to Spin Zone.
I mean, we've got a nice front door. We got like a lot of brands. Looks like, oh, I see the NBDA sticker. I'm gonna give him a point for that one.
Nice.
I feel
Score
like
us
the
some
bike could be
points.
brighter, maybe. Maybe the bike could be brighter.
Yep. Yeah, I mean it's the exact thing we talked about. Dark bikes effectively on a dark background. Even if it doesn't feel dark when you're in the store, it looks dark from outside the store. Um, everything's see-through, so you're looking through the window, um, through the bike, into the rest of the store, and there's nothing really stopping your eye, especially because of the dark color of the bikes.
We need a backdrop. We need that
And
three.
even what is there is somewhat being obscured by the stickers and stuff.
Love how you're just willing to just jump in and take these. Okay, let's go
Uh,
to the next one. Want to go, or you see something
no,
else?
go ahead. No, go ahead. Well,
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I just wanted you to see kind of what more was going on the door here on the same one.
same exact issues.
Yeah.
I don't know that the brands are necessary on this door or on the windows, and chances are they could be handled in a tastier manner so it feels more thought through than just the guy from the shop stuck a sticker on the window.
All right. I mean, that's fair. Yeah, there's a lot of sticker. Oh, I like this one. So this is Cyclesmith Canada. I'm really yeah, I was anxious to hear what you thought about this store.
I think this is great.
Yeah.
They've obviously got the perforated graphics happening there. So I'm sure at night this probably looks good. The big graphics on the outside play well during the day. I don't, for my own taste, it might be a little bit too much graphic and not enough seeing into the store, but at least there's some areas of the store that we can see into.
I
It's
think
clean, it's
it
not
is.
cluttered,
Yeah.
it's bold. I like that.
All right, go to the next one, Brian. Go to the next one. I wanted you to
Okay.
have a view of this. They have this cool service drop-off station, which is really cool. But just I wanted you to see the one side is on a busy street, the other side was on the parking lot side.
Yep. I like it.
So, all right. What else? Is there another one? Yeah. Oh,
Hmm.
yeah. You could tell I like this one, right? I wanted you to see what they had going on. Like, because they got their branding down, they had their branding down. This is Earl's up in Washington. Stacy sent us these photos. What do you think? I mean, it's bright.
It's the stickers. Um, I maybe that's the brand, like this door tells a story about the store, and it's not a clean, um it's not a high-tech environment. I don't know. It tells a story. If this is inconsistent with what's happening inside the store, then it's a mistake.
Okay, all right. So
If
you
there is, because some stores can pull this off, like lots of logos, lots of old jerseys, lots of old bikes, things like that in the store, and the clutter and all that kind of has a certain quality to it that's kind of neat. Some stores can pull that off.
But I get the
Uh,
sense from you that like stickers don't really mean a lot to the customer. It doesn't always present like the cleanest environment or the feel that they're coming into a place that's more high end, I guess is
yeah,
all right.
yeah. I mean, hey, if their customer, if their assessment is that their customer enjoys, it's kind of enthusiastic about that kind of thing, then this could be a great solution. I,
Mhm.
I, I suspect that it's not a perfect solution though.
All right. Yeah.
This is suffering from things being taped to the windows.
Hmm.
Like that little sign, it looks like it's printed on 8.5 by 11 paper, and it's starting to come down off the back side of the window.
I don't know how you see that. Your eyes are really good, Brian.
The graphic in the window there is a good solution. I have a feeling they're trying to hide what's going on inside a little bit because it looks like it's a service department, and that doesn't play well in Windows very much. So this might be a case where I would entirely cover the windows with perforated graphics or with graphics like these. These are not perforated. These look like vinyl graphics that are semi-translucent.
We might be getting close to the end. Is there another one, Brian? Go ahead. Go.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Oh, this is more than Hades-Burg, Mississippi. This is their front door, their sign outside. I see a lot of reflection. What do you do? I mean, can you like what do you do? Like, what do you thought? What do you think?
Not for see, like I have a lot of empathy for this kind of you just can't make the inside of the store bright enough to overcome the light outside that store. So this reflection problem is just a fact of nature. Um, it's got stuff taped to the windows. We don't have to repeat that stuff.
Mhm.
But I also get a sense that this isn't a display window. Like they're not trying to tell a big story here. It's just the front door.
Yeah. I
So
wanted
maybe
I wanted to ask about that reflection. Oh, I wanted to show this one. What about this holiday? This retailer just
Ireland.
done. Yeah?
I like the whimsical illustrations on the glass may not be for everybody. But if this is a family-oriented shop, and I assume that this happens at Christmas time only, probably, I
Mhm.
like that. I like that a lot.
It's cool, right? Yeah.
Very bold. Uh, they're well done too. A lot of painted graphics on windows are terrible. And that would be a big mistake, but these look like they're really well done.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I like that
Yes.
solution.
I wanted you to have this one because this one says like biking through the snow. You know what I mean? So it's like it's pretty cool. Yeah. I wanted to, yeah.
I
All right,
like it a lot.
go to the next one. Oh, this is Seacoast up in Maine. No, sorry, New Hampshire. It's an e-bike store. A little far away, but you can see what's going on there.
Um, yeah, I mean the snowflakes show up because they've got some contrast. It's a light colored object against the dark inside of the store. Looks like there's a bike in the window there. So, and oh, I see a little Santa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So it might be as simple as the thing that we were talking about putting something behind the product
make it stand out a
so
little.
that it helps to separate it from the dark background.
It's fun to get different feedback on different windows. Is there any more? I don't know if I have, maybe. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that's
here's a
just a
close up.
close up. Yeah. If we're gonna have promotional signs, is it good to kind of lay them on the window like this or?
Objection, leading the witness.
Ah!
No, I would say not. There's better ways to present them than that. You could do, even if it's for this kind of a sign, even if it's suction cups on the
Oh, yeah,
back
okay.
side of the window to get it up off so it's not just laying against the window.
I like that. More of the
Lucky
fancy.
this isn't a glassless store or that would fall right through.
Oh, nice work getting it in there.
I know. I had to get that in there before the end.
This is
Oh,
Rack up in Burlington, Vermont.
that's cool.
I know. When I saw their photos, I was like, well, I think we know who gets the award. I mean, what do you think?
I love it. They're doing, I mean, it's like I should have been able to use this as an example. It's
Yeah.
exactly what we talked about.
Yeah.
Stuff on the windows as that layer, telling a story, like literally there's headlines on the window, product in the window as the second layer, and then things behind the product.
It's so great. Yeah.
And it's lit well. It's obviously a nighttime. I'm sure during the day this doesn't have quite the appeal, but the words on the windows are still going to play in the day, so this still works great.
Did I give you one more? Yeah, yeah, it's a couple other views.
Really, really, really nice. I love the stuff around the windows there. It's designed nicely. It says that they know what they're doing. It glorifies, it kind of complements their brands that they're showing in the windows.
That's
I
cool.
just think that's really, really good.
Yeah. It's a really beautiful shop. It looks good at night or during the day too. Yeah.
Love it.
Yay. I love that our P2 members sent us so many photos so we could go through and share them with everyone. It's fun, right, Brian?
Yeah, great
did I,
examples. I
did
love
I
it.
surprise you?
Yes.
Yay.
I'm no
So
longer sharing, am I? No.
no, no, no. I just see you. So, listeners, Window Day. It's super fun. We hope that there was a lot of great information here. Brian and I both know there's challenges with doing windows and there's challenges with space restrictions. But if you want us to look at your windows, you can always still send us those photos, design@nbda.com. Fixture Lab, Brian has been working with the NBDA, supporting the NBDA for years. I think you even offer a special offer to NBDA members who want to work with you.
You know, it depends on the store. We always do, but it depends on what you need because we're going to take care of you because we take care of NBDA members. We
Yeah.
love you guys. We'll take care of you. So give me a call and let's figure out how we can get things going to help you out. We'll always take care of you.
Yeah, Brian's super generous. Brian@fixturelab.com. And yeah, for future episodes, we want to know how we can help you. Send us windows, send us anything you're struggling when it comes to design, remodeling. Fixture Lab also makes a bunch of really great fixtures that are specific for the bicycle store, could be used in other stores as well. So head over to fixturelab.com, check out the website, see what's there. Brian, that wraps up our episode. We're on to the new year.
Yeah, baby. Happy
Yeah.
holidays. Happy 2024.
Thank you for listening. Remember, head over to YouTube. Lots of photos today that we shared, so you're going to want to see that. Thanks to Alex for helping me out with Surprise Brian. Brian, you got the 3 words in. So yeah, we're ending on a great note. Brian, thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, industry professionals. Stay connected and up to date with the latest in the bike industry by joining the NBDA today for just $79 a year. That's a $50 savings with code BRR50. Whether you're a sales rep, shop employee, or an industry veteran, NBDA membership gives you access to valuable perks. Engage with peers and stay ahead of industry trends this year. Use code BRR50 at checkout to save $50 on your annual membership today. Code is valid for all new members purchasing an annual membership for an individual.
Thank you for tuning into Bicycle Retail Radio, presented by the National Bicycle Dealers Association. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if you did, please like, subscribe, or leave us a review. Sharing this podcast with your friends helps us reach more listeners and continue to bring you the best content. Remember, we host 2 shows per week with ever-changing guests and fresh content to keep you both informed and inspired. The National Bicycle Dealer Association is committed to providing valuable events, webinars, and opportunities for industry education and connection. Stay up to date by visiting nbda.com to see our event calendar. Special thanks to Francis Abbott for the promotional graphics for today's episode. If you're interested in advertising on Bicycle Retail Radio or have a guest suggestion, visit nbda.com to learn more. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time on Bicycle Retail Radio.